I'm Vivian, 36, and my entire adult life was a relentless exercise in proving my worth against the narrative crafted by my younger brother, Owen, 33. Owen was the golden child. He had a prestigious, established career in sales management at a large global distribution firm, Apex Logistics. He lived a comfortable, visible life. I, on the other hand, chose the path of the entrepreneur. I started a series of small, experimental tech ventures, a few modest successes, many rapid, expensive failures. To my family, and especially to Owen, I was the one who was always scrambling, the risky one, the failure. The constant mockery became unbearable at our annual family reunion last spring. Owen, who was up for a major promotion at Apex, cornered me near the buffet. "Vivian, you look tired," he said, not with concern, but with smug pity. "Still running that little app development thing? It's been 5 years, and you're still taking consulting gigs just to cover rent. Apex is promoting me next month, a real, stable, 6-figure job. You should really think about finding something solid. A job with health benefits. You're 36. You can't keep living like this, failing upward." Then he delivered the ultimate public blow. Later that day, during the family toast, he praised our parents for their unwavering support. And I want to especially thank Mom and Dad for ensuring that even though they have a child who chooses to chase pipe dreams, they can at least rely on my stability to manage the family's financial name. Some of us choose the steady climb. Some of us choose the constant dramatic fall. The entire room knew he was talking about my repeated business failures. He didn't just mock my current struggle, he branded me a permanent failure, contrasting his inherited stability with my earned chaos. I smiled, accepted the pity, and left early. But I didn't leave defeated. Owen's arrogance was based on 2 massive assumptions. First, that my current struggles defined my future, and second, that his company, Apex, was an impenetrable fortress of stability. He was about to learn that my failures were just tuition payments for a very specific, devastating education. Phase 1, the target acquisition. 6 months. My revenge began not with rage, but with a highly targeted professional pivot. My latest failed venture wasn't a failure at all. It was a highly specialized consulting firm focusing on supply chain optimization through proprietary software algorithms. It was the kind of niche knowledge that major stagnant companies like Apex desperately needed, but wouldn't buy unless they were forced to. Apex Logistics, the company Owen worshipped, was my new target. I pulled every public corporate filing. I knew that despite its global reach, Apex was burdened by bloated middle management, outdated logistics technology, and a crippling reliance on inefficient legacy systems. Owen's entire department was one of the worst offenders. I spent 3 months building a comprehensive, undeniable dossier proving that Apex's supply chain inefficiency was costing them tens of millions annually. I modeled the exact savings a hostile takeover, followed by my patented optimization software, could achieve. Then I approached the one entity that could move mountains: the Carlyle Group, a fictionalized private equity firm known for aggressive restructuring. I didn't ask for a job. I presented them with a guaranteed 300% return on investment, ROI, if they financed a private takeover of Apex and installed my technology. My pitch was simple. I have the intellectual property, the optimization blueprint, and the operational experience to turn a dinosaur into a market leader. I just need the capital and the authority. I want a significant equity stake and a guaranteed executive role overseeing the transition. Carlyle, smelling blood and massive profits, agreed instantly. I was installed as the Executive Vice President of Operational Integration and Restructuring. The failure was about to become the predator. The next 3 months were a blur of due diligence, shareholder meetings, and securing financing. Owen had no idea. He continued to post smug updates about his rising career, completely oblivious to the fact that the company he worked for was being sold out from under him. The deal closed quietly on a Tuesday in September. Carlyle Group took majority ownership, and I was granted full authority to initiate the restructure. My first order of business? The immediate implementation of a corporate-wide operational review, starting with the highest cost, most inefficient division, Owens. I didn't notify Owen. I let him bask in his assumed stability right up until the last minute. My first act as EVP was to commission a corporate portrait. I made sure it was placed prominently in the lobby of Apex's headquarters, right next to the CEO's office, a massive, polished statement of my new authority. The mandatory all-hands managerial meeting was scheduled for 9 a.m. on a Friday. The stated purpose was introducing new strategic leadership. Owen walked into the auditorium, looking confident and sharp. He spotted my corporate portrait in the lobby, but dismissed it. Must be some new consultant, he probably thought. He took a seat in the front row, ready to impress the new leadership with his stability. The Carlyle CEO began the meeting with a brief, chilling address about maximizing efficiency and eliminating legacy costs. Then came the introduction. We have brought in one of the foremost minds in algorithmic logistics to head our transformation, the CEO announced. She comes from a background of proven results in high-risk, high-reward ventures. She is our new Executive Vice President of Operational Integration. Please welcome Ms. Vivian R. I walked out onto the stage. The silence in the massive auditorium was instant and absolute. Owen's jaw dropped. He literally went pale, his smug confidence draining away to horror. He looked from the stage to the portrait in the lobby, and the reality of my new position hit him like a physical blow. I didn't acknowledge him. I didn't gloat. I simply began my presentation, a highly detailed, ruthless breakdown of his division's failures. Over the next 6 months, Apex will undergo a transformation focused on 3 goals. Goal 1. Implement the proprietary V-Logistics algorithm across all major hubs. Goal 2, eliminate redundant legacy roles. And Goal 3, immediately remove all middle management personnel who have contributed to the documented 40% loss in efficiency due to complacency and lack of documented output. I paused, looking directly at the front row where Owen was trembling. To ensure the successful execution of this restructuring, I will personally oversee the review of the most critical and underperforming department, the Southeast Sales and Distribution Division, which brings me to Mr. Owen. Owen half rose from his chair, finally finding his voice, but it came out as a desperate squeak. "Vivian, what are you doing? I'm your brother. This is a mistake. My job is safe." I signaled for a spotlight to hit Owen, isolating him in the front row. The shame was absolute and public. "Mr. R," I said, my voice resonating with cold authority, using his professional title, "your employment status is now under immediate review. Due to documented time theft, failure to meet key performance indicators, KPIs, and your reliance on legacy client relationships rather than new revenue generation, your division is scheduled for a 75% headcount reduction." I reached the climax of my presentation and pointed directly at him. "Mr. Owen R., you have been flagged as a core liability. You were deemed as stable because your division was static, not because it was successful. That is exactly the kind of costly complacency we are here to eliminate." I then played a short audio clip, a pristine recording of his mocking toast at the family reunion. Some of us choose the steady climb. Some of us choose the constant dramatic fall. The auditorium was filled with his own cruel voice. "You told the entire family I chose the dramatic fall, Owen. You called my business failures pipe dreams. You were wrong. My failures were the education, the algorithm, and the operational blueprint that led to my current position. You chose the steady climb, and I acquired the mountain. Your employment at Apex Logistics is terminated effective immediately. Please report to security for your exit interview and severance package. You are no longer part of this company's future. The epilogue, a new definition of success. Owen was escorted out of the building, a humiliated shadow of his former self. He had lost his job, his status, and the reputation he had so desperately weaponized against me. The family reaction was total silence, followed by terrified deference. My parents, after witnessing my complete professional authority, never questioned my career choices again. They realized that my risky path had led to a far more powerful position than Owen's stable one. Owen called me 3 days later, not to apologize, but to beg for a severance bonus. "Vivian, please, you're my sister. You're the EVP. You can adjust my package. I have bills." I didn't cave. My priority is the fiduciary duty to my shareholders, Owen. You failed to bring value to the company. My personal relationship with you has no bearing on this corporate decision. I suggest you start applying for those stable jobs with good health benefits. You know, the ones that are far from the chaos of a dramatic corporate failure. He had told the world I was a failure. I proved that the highest form of success is having the power to rewrite your own narrative and your brother's employment status on a global corporate stage. The silence from the family was the most valuable compensation of all.